Hi everyone. Okay, today's little short how-to video is going to be a follow-up to the blurry background one that I did recently with the little Yorkshire Terrier dog. Just showing you here. In case you can't remember, this is one with the green background and the grass in the foreground. So today I'm going to be doing something very similar, a little bit even more simplified than that. Again, using our PanPastel range, or PanPastels, and we're going to be using those to create a soft blue, very blurry. I'm still recovering from my mouth operation, so my words are a little bit every now and again. Anyway, we're going to be using the PanPastels, and we're going to be creating a blue blurry background. Oh, I'll do it again. For our little mock-up up here, which was the subject of my workshops in the US and for my upcoming workshops here in the UK this spring. So originally, obviously, he was done on the brown Pastelmat using watercolour pencils, wet and dry, and I'm going to be creating literally a soft blue sky mottledy effect background, and I'll do it real time for you with a voiceover. So hopefully next time you see this one, he'll be on my drawing board and we will create that background, and then I will scan in an image for you at the end to show you what he looks like. Okay, thank you. Hi everyone. Okay, so you can see here I popped my pencil portrait of Mock-up up out of his mount and frame, and we're literally going to pop in sort of a blue bokeh blurry sky black background for him. Kind of sort of ad-libbing as I go along with this one. I've got in my head sort of what I want it to look like. I want it to be quite soft. I don't want it to really detract from the portrait itself. This also goes to show that you can pop in your background at the end of a piece or partway through a piece. This one is actually finished, but just by popping in the background using the PanPastels and the tools, it's just a case then of about 10 minutes worth of work, just going back and flicking the fur line back over all these little whiskers and things, just flick them back in over the top. So I've got my PanPastels lined up on the side here. I've selected a range of the blues, white, grey. I've got a couple of the soft tools ready to go as well. A little bit of tissue just to clean them off as I go, and one of their squidgy sponges as well. So first of all, I'm going to put in a bit of a foundation blue. I think I'm going to go literally straight in, because again you can mix these on the palette or actually on the paper. I'm just having a quick think. This one's a little bit too bright, that one's a little bit too pale, these two are too pales. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in some of this brighter one, and we'll see what it looks like once we've got it down on the surface. So we're going to pop it in here first of all. And this first layer is literally, I'm just sponging it in, and it just gets into all of the tooth. It's not gone on too bad. So as I sponge it on into places, get a good coverage on there, and then we can soften it down with some layers. You can see I'm not putting this in all over, so I'm just thinking about like a soft cloudy, not quite a bokeh effect, but cloudy with some soft lights coming through it. I'm going to time this as I go as well, so I know roughly how long it will have taken me. Pop some of this down through here as well. Obviously the edge where I've got the mount, I can see where the mount line is when it goes back into its mount. I am just taking it over that edge anyway. Anything I see with sometimes people popping in, not necessarily a pan pastel background, but a soft pastel background, as they put it in afterwards, I see them working it with their finger or a blending tool around the shape of the head, and all it does is it leaves a halo around the head, which immediately grabs my attention when I look at pieces. I can't take my eyes off it then. I can just see this halo of colour. And really what you need to do is take it, if you're doing it afterwards, you need to take it up over the edge of your drawing, and then, like I say, just take a few minutes to flick the drawing back over the top. This looks really bright at the moment. As I say, we're going to soften it down. A little touch up here, I think. Just kind of wiping off my tool here now, but basically it's just giving a slightly gentler layer. You'll see little bits of, that was a little bit of the foam coming off, because this is a textured surface. It does sort of eat your sponge a little bit, so it will take off little bits as we work on it. So just a little hint of this in here. I have to go in my soft tool actually. So I'm going to use this shaped tool for when I go into these spaces, and it should just be able to push it in there without going over the edge quite as much. If I use that big sponge, there you go, that's much nicer. There we go. Just some little bits. Again, I've already got my signature on here, so we'll be going over that signature at some point. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up some of this turquoisey blue. I will write the colours in the actual description of the video as well below. So just work some of this over the top of some of that blue now, just to soften it back. And so I just want to fill in all of this space first of all, and then we'll start going in with some of our lights. So I'm just using this sponge because it's a quicker applicator, basically, just because of the size of it. So I have got the other video on here as well of the creating the green blurry grass background, and I will be doing a proper bokeh effect one as well, and it will be the light coming through sort of the trees. So lots of darks, mid-tones and light sparkles coming through. This has totally changed the look of the piece already. Looks like a bit of a peacock. All these colours. I'm going to just use my tool in a second to go in around that edge. If I was doing this not to video, I would probably not have my surface affixed to my board, because that way I could spin it around and get it in at better angles. So if you are doing something like this at home, again, it's your choice as to whether you affix it to your board, or I'll go up over the edge here, even though my mount is probably going to cover that area. I've got a darker blue here as well. I'm going to pop a tiny bit of a darker blue in here as well. I'm actually teaching Mocha here. There is a tutorial out for the creating of the actual main study of this spaniel. He's created wet and dry using watercolour pencils. So put down your base layers, add water, and then when it's dry you go back in with the same pencils and create your dry layers as well. And it just shows the versatility of those watercolour pencils, that you can use them wet and dry. And he was also the subject of my classes in the US last year, and for my workshops here in the UK starting next month in March. So I'm quite looking forward to teaching him again. Although we probably won't be learning how to do the background, it's just the pencil work at the workshops. So, see how quickly, what are we, 7 minutes in, that's taken me just to get this initial layer in. If you can imagine you were going to try, well, first of all, it's quite difficult to achieve this kind of effect with your pencils, but if you consider how long it would take, how many layers, how much blending to get you even to this point. Okay, I'm just going to come over this side now. See, more of the sponge is falling off. Just want to blow that away. These sponges don't stand up very well to these rough sanded type papers. I've yet to try them on anything like the UArt. Okay. So I've got the framing line there, I need to just take consideration, but I've just taken that up over the line at the moment. Now, I'm going to go in with this tool just to some of the areas where I just want to push it up against the edge of my drawing. You can still see here as well, you can still see the whiskers showing through. Okay, so just bring this in here across the brow. Pick up a little bit more on the tip. These tools, you can just see how lovely they smooth the layers. A little bit in here over the top. Use my other hand now just to push this in around this side. Again, that's the advantage. If you didn't have it taped down, you could just spin it around. Be much better. Okay, quite happy. We've got quite a good coverage there. So now I'm going to go in with my next lighter colour and just start to soften a little bit of this back. So let's just see how it goes. If it goes too light, obviously we can just go back in then with a little bit more colour. So I'm going to soften up the area behind his head. So I'm going to use a little circular motion. Okay. Again, we can take that lighter if we want later on. Create another highlight like that, I think, coming in here in this corner. Just rotating it in clockwise to anti-clockwise, just to make sure I've got that pastel going into the tooth in both directions. And that's the other thing as well. People ask, would I use fixative on this now? No, I wouldn't, because it's Pastelmat. It's designed to hold pastel. I'll probably just hold it upside down and give it a little flick from the back, but there's nothing lifting off. There's no there's no soft pastel lifting off there. So I wouldn't risk putting any fixative on here in case, again, it just totally ruins the colour, ruins the whole drawing. I don't, as long as it's matted, mounted and framed behind glass, there shouldn't be an issue. And in between then I make sure it's sealed nicely behind some glassine paper. Okay. You can see already on the screen this is starting to create a kind of bokeh effect, which, I mean, I don't want to go for a true bokeh effect, but we shall see how this evolves as we work it. I tend to do a lot of things that way. I don't wing it, but no, sort of, I have an idea in my head how I think I want it to look. I never know whether that is fully achievable with the tools that I've got, but I have a good idea that it is. And then I just kind of get stuck in and see where it takes me. So it can evolve, it can change slightly, depending on circumstance and how it works, as to what the final result will be. And I'm actually quite liking this lovely effect that it's giving. But you see here, it's not taking me much work. What are we now? We're 13 minutes in from where I started, and just look at the effect already and how far you could take this if you wanted to. I'm going to add a smaller little bit down here. That's the little circle. I'm going to come back to that one as well, because I'm going to pop in another one over here. I'm just looking at where my lines are going to be, so I'm going to have, there's my line there of my mount, so I'm just going to include one up here a little bit. A little awkward working up there upside down. Much easier if I could approach it from the right direction. Okay, so back to these little ones here that I've already marked in. I'm just going to soften around the edge first of all. And then just the residue, literally just what I'm doing here is I'm lifting some of this light over here into the darker area, and then some of that darker area lifting back across as well, almost forming kind of a halo around these little blobs. I'm going to break this up in here a little bit as well because it's all a little bit samey in there. Okay. Tiny little bit down here, I think. That's nice. I just need to soften this one over here. I'll do it in the same way as I did the other one. I'm just softening that edge. And I'll lift off into this light blue and put in like a smaller little circle in there. And come back to this edge. I mean, there was the worry when I've got a couple of practice pieces of mocha pup that I could have used for this, but no, I dove in and pulled out the original. It's a guinea pig, so to speak, but I am really, really happy with the mood that this is creating with this piece. Now I'm going to switch over to this. I was going to pop in white, but I don't want white. There's another light blue here. I'm just going to try this. This looks like it's got a little bit of purplish mauve undertones to it, and also I just want to be wary that my sponge is getting a little bit rough there. I'm just going to go into one of these brighter original circles that we started and just add into the centre a little more touch of light. Okay. I'm also going to use this. I'm going to swap this over now just to show that you can literally flick that off and pull it on the other side. So you do get double use out of these. You can just flip them over. There we go. And again, you could go in here with either pastel pencils or colour pencils as well. Just to really sort of give some detail to these little circles if you want. I'm probably not going to because I quite like the look of how soft the pan pastels can be. So I'm just going to do some little tiny circles in here now. So this has evolved into more of a Bokeh effect as I've been working. Like I say, that wasn't the original plan. Okay, so I'll lift off into that darker area a little bit. And lift some of that back across here to soften that edge. Same with this little circle here. So put a little touch of halo on this one here as well. Sponge is literally falling apart on me as I work. Let's soften that one a little bit. See here, I'm just lifting little touches out of the darker blues and popping them into some of these fresh white circles. See this one here now, it's already falling apart on me. We'll just persevere a little bit more because I don't think this is far off being okay. What I'm going to do is I'll switch over to this other tool. Now I've got a couple of really dark blues here. I was planning on something a lot lighter than this, but I quite like the effect, so I'm going to put in a tiny touch of something darker here, just in a little couple of places I think. So we'll just see. I might be lifting this back out again. Quite like how dark this is in here. So I'm just putting in a little touch. Just see how this works. A little bit too dark, I think. I'm not sure. I'll pop it in a couple more places first before I decide. I'll touch it up in this top corner, I think. I don't want it to look like bubbles really, I think that's the whole thing. Just a little bit more of this down here now actually. And take it down a little bit of a diagonal. You can see here I've hardly lost any of the detail on my actual drawing. So I'm going to go in now with a little touch of white. I'm using it on that kind of dirty, I'm going to wipe it off actually a little bit. So I'm using it on my dirty sponge, so I don't want it pure white, I just want it a little bit soft. Let's just go in on a couple of these. I wanted to give the eyes some kind of focal point, and what I might do is go back in to the eyes and add in almost like a reflection of this blue as well. So now that I have popped this into, because normally I'd pop in a background if I decide to pop one in, it's usually when I'm about 2/3 of the way through to about 3/4 of the way through. And by that point you've then got a nice chance to go back into your actual drawing that you're working on and balance it out with that background that you've popped in. So like where I popped the green grass into the little Yorkshire Terrier drawing, then I had the chance then to go in and put some of that grass reflecting off the terrier as I worked her to completion. So I will need to take note and probably go back in. But there is blues and that going through him. That's why I didn't go with a green bokeh background for this one. I chose to go with the blues. And like I say, this is a lot darker than what I actually planned, but I really, really like it. Add in a tiny bit more. Let's have a look at this original turquoise mixed in with some of this blue. It's a little bit light. Right, let's go back in with the turquoise, our original colour. And a little bit of our bright blue that we used as well right at the start. Okay. So, tiny little touch up just up there. I just want to pop that back in there. I think I'll leave it at that, to be honest. So I'm just going to start fussing otherwise. Yeah, okay. So, that, I think, we should call it done. So we just need to go in now with the pencils, and that's taken us, what, half an hour. But we had most of it there within about 15 minutes. Oh, just want to soften up that one there. Let's miss that one. I know he's probably actually in the area of where the mount sits anyway. Let me just grab the mount. I might need to actually get a new mount for him now as well, but let's have a look. See where this lies. It says, see, that's way outside. Yeah, I'm going to get a new mount cut, I believe, because otherwise we're going to lose some of the background. I actually quite like it. There we go. So that's what he's going to look like. And it is a case now of going back, and should have my pencils at the ready here. But I don't. So just going back in again now, and we just pop our detail back in, put our whiskers back in. Yeah, literally, it'll just take a few minutes just to do that. So I'm going to do that, then I'll pop them through the scanner and I'll let you see the final image. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. I hope that helps, and please don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And also, if you want first access to these videos and lots more full-length voiceover videos with tutorials, please do pop over and join me on my Patreon channel, which is just www.patreon.com/Lisa Ann Watkins. But again, I'll pop the link below for you. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.